Hey everybody, I'm Zach and I like movies, and I'm here to talk to you about The Substance. This is the latest film from French director Coralie Fargeat, who made a splash back in 2017 with her feminist twist and pulpy, ultra-violent twist on the rape revenge genre. Revenge. Great movie, super fun, and her work has been can has some like similarities to another French director in the French extremist style, Julia Ducournau, who made Raw and Detain. There's some overlap between the two. They both have like a very fondness for the body and a real tenaciousness in both their approaches to the body and to filmmaking, and I was really hoping to see more of what Fargeat could do in a way that Ducournau got to do when she went from Raw to Detain, and that's this movie is that for Fargeat. This was this was phenomenal. This is easily one of the best movies of the year. It's so good. So good. But it's a movie that I really don't want to like tell what happens. I don't want to say too much about it, so I'm just going to give you the rundown. So, Demi Moore plays Elizabeth Sparkle. She's this like this host of like this kind of dated 90s looking aerobics daytime exercise show, just like a kind of thing that Jane Fonda did. And she has a star on the Walk of Fame. She's clearly been around for a while, and she's been in the business, and she still looks good for her age. She's working hard, but she turned 50, and the head of the network, played by Deniis Quaid, just tells her, yeah, that's it, you're gone. They want somebody new. It was somebody newer, younger, and hotter. And so she gets told about this experimental underground drug called The Substance, with this very cryptic ad pitch, that will allow a younger copy of yourself that is still you to be out in the world being you, being the better you that you wanted. And Elizabeth takes it, and out comes the younger her, Sue, played by Margaret Qualley. But there's a catch. You and the copy are both the same person. You are both one. And you swap out every 7 days. No exceptions. And then exceptions get made, and then bad things happen. And oh man, this movie is a ride. This movie is it's so wild, and it's so clear on like what it's very clear on what it is. Like I love this movie just in like all of its like the sheer craftsmanship of it is so incredible. Like the shot composition is great, the editing is brisk and fast, and it for a movie that's 2 hours and 20 minutes long, it doesn't really feel long. And it's so there's a lot of like such clear such clarity and such personality popping through every screen. It's a movie that feels very background worthy. You just point to one scene, you'll get like a great background image for your laptop, and man, they really stepped up in that in terms of the visuals and what's also fun is that she has like such clear clarity in like the vibe and the tone of what's happening. This is clearly it's very obviously over the top in terms of like the world it's created. Like, yeah, it's set in Los Angeles, but it's clearly like satirical, but it has this like satirical tone of like I don't know, like a showgirls movie, and it's very over the top in certain how like characters act and how some people talk, and it only gets and it's sets that tone. It just kind of amps it up further, more and more extreme, the more it goes on. And as it goes on, you see more and more of these clear, like, horror movie references in, like, in so many scenes. Like, there's like so much body horror and body horror monstrosity, like in The Fly and The Thing. There's odes to Carrie and like addiction and ideas of like addiction and self-destruction from like Requiem for a Dream and Perfect Blue, the image horror of Perfect Blue. There's a little bit of Reanimator in there too, with the like neon green glow of the substance itself. And more than a handful of references to The Shining in the hallways and the very uncomfortably sterile bathrooms in this movie, but also clear allusions to stories like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and The Portrait of Dorian Gray. And these references all help reinforce the story. It's not just help reinforce the story, but also help give that tone more of an obvious, a better clarity of like what kind of movie this is. It's not meant to be taken literally. It's farcical. It's over the top, and it's a fable. It's evil. But what's so great is that it not just doesn't just work in like a tone and a craftsmanship. It works so well on an emotional level because it's like obviously this is a movie about, it's a horror movie, but it's a body horror movie, but it's also kind of a tragic movie. It's a tragic movie too because because there's clearly like riffing on like it's clearly riffing on these and satirizing and taking down these ideas of like these body standards that women feel and how women are so easily discarded in industries. Like, you could be like a character actress for years, but if you want to be like sexually available, there's like a shelf, like they give women a shelf life. Demi Moore certainly feels that and has like an interesting relationship with her agent too. And this movie is so clearly from a woman's perspective, but I feel like the feelings that Fargeat is playing with and working with, I think these are ones that I think anyone can relate to, whether you have like an eating disorder or body dysmorphia or gender dysphoria or general dissatisfaction with how you look. There's always this haunting thought that you're not good enough and that there is some version of you that is more perfect, that there's a better version of yourself, and that whether it's based on like your own image issues or like just unrealistic body standards set by like by the media or society, and the struggle to try to achieve that. It's very real, and it's eternal. Like no matter how hard you work and what you try to work towards, that image, that goal, that perfect idea of who you are and how you look is always unattainable. And it feels very, it gets something very real, and it's certainly something I felt. There are days that I feel like very, sort of trapped within my own skin, and the struggle. Yeah, like I said, the struggle is very real, and Demi Moore is so great at communicating that frustration and that self-hatred. One of the movie's more powerful moments was one of the more comparably simple scenes next to like wild, like a sort of sci-fi pulp horror scenes, where Elizabeth, she's getting ready for a date and she's putting her makeup on in the mirror, and it just never looks right. She's constantly redoing it, wiping it off, smudging it, smearing it. She's just constantly angry. She hates how she looks. She hates how she feels, and it's tragic. It's sad. That got real, and what's so great about this movie is that on a dime, it could change from something that heartbreaking and real into something so unbelievably funny. Like, this movie is so funny. It's so funny. Like, especially given how, especially like the more like I do not want to spoil the third act, but my God, that third act, there's a title drop around the third act that had me soaring into the heavens. Like, my one regret about watching this movie was that I did not see it in a full crowd. Because this is a movie that really deserves to be seen with a crowd and get all of those full reactions, because this movie goes places, and the performances all go there too. Demi Moore, this is probably the best performance of her career, and she really knocks it out of the park pretty regularly. Margaret Qualley is also going there. She's pretty, like I said, like I might have said this before, but she is so. She's really one of the rising stars, I think. One of the best, like, really establishing herself as a really accomplished character actress. But Dennis Quaid here is, he's having a blast just being this super, like, gross cartoon. He's like a cartoon. And it was so funny, like this movie coming out now, because, like, you can watch this in a movie, and 2 screens over, you could see him. You could also watch his Reagan movie, and he's so happy, having so much fun, just being so disgusting, and like some of his lines are so. The way he says it are so just so broad and so fun. Oh, I love my wife. And like I love his over the top suits, and the fact that he always has like a trio of, like, you know wordless like executives in black suits that just stand there. And oh my god, and like again the performances are all great. The craftsmanship is there. The sound design of this movie is disgusting. Everything, it's so sickeningly crunchy and squishy and squelchy. You hear, like, there's a scene early on of Dennis Quaid eating shrimp, and you hear everything, the smearing of the sauce, the like squish and biting in his teeth. It's like that moment in Lord of the Rings where Denethor's eating. This like it's gross and disgusting. You hear literally everything. Like, sometimes it'll, like, the sound will get warped and it'll sort of like be muffled, like you're hearing something underwater, and your hearing hasn't compensated quite right. It's real sickeningly gross when it needs to be, and just so gonzo when it really just lets off the brakes and lets loose. And oh man, this movie is so much, and probably I can imagine it being too much for some people. It definitely does get, it definitely, like, I think if you're, like, not sold on the tone and the real over-the-top extravagance of it, I could definitely see it wearing down a lot of people. And again, it's a long movie. It didn't feel long for me, although I would say there was, like, maybe a bit around the second act that kind of felt like, okay, we're kind of just repeating, we're kind of just like, it's getting a little repetitive, but then we have to, like, but then to, like, switches gears again and, like, really, like, just kicks it into high gear around that third act. Again, I'm trying not to oversell this, but I can't exaggerate how good this movie made me feel. My god, like, the highs of this movie are why we go to the theaters, why movies exist, why they matter, why they're so fun, and why they're worthwhile. And the emotions here are so clear, and they're so especially even when it's being mixed in with these more pulp aspects, because the substance is, in essence, a body horror tragic comedy fable of how women feel about how they look, how they feel about themselves, and how that chase for perfection is ultimately fleeting. And that's so effective, and it's so fun, and it's so thrilling, and I really can't wait to see it again. I really got to get friends together and, like, see this movie again. It's so wild, so good. And Coralie Fargeat really outdid herself with this. Can't wait to see what she does next. And I'm feeling a light 9. This was definitely top 10 of the year for me. And that'll be it. I'm Zach. I like movies. I have a lot more movies to watch. I hope you watch the movies too. Watch The Substance as fast as you can, and I'll see you later.